Here's a milestone for the city of brotherly love. Philadelphia reaches 1,000 carjackings for the first time ever. Philadelphia breaking records. Unfortunately, it's not the kind you want to be breaking. But don't worry, this is not limited to just Philadelphia. Many other cities have seen their numbers skyrocket, but Philadelphia cracking a milestone. Let's get into this. Let's see what we got going on. Philadelphia carjackings in 2022 soar past previous record of 847 thefts in 2021, just last year. And we're in September, just about to go into October. And this is going on. This will be a record-setting year for carjackings in Philly, right? Carjackings in Philadelphia have spiked in recent years, and on Tuesday, they reached over 1,000. 1,005 total carjackings at the end of day, September 27th. That was 2 days ago from when I'm recording this. They're going to go well into, what do you think, 1,250, something like that, 1,300? I mean, you got a few months left. Lots of opportunity out there for those that are in this business. Carjacking. What a terrible crime. Fox 29's 𝐍𝐞𝐤𝐬, reporter, said that the city's number of carjackings had surpassed the previous record of 847, which had doubled, and that was for 2021, which had doubled from 410 carjackings in 2020. What is going on? Well, we've got a few things in this article that kind of point to, well, there's a little bit of what we think is happening. 2019 reportedly saw 225 vehicle thefts. I think it's because a lot of these cities have defunded their police and people know they can get away with it. Wearing that damn mask, as these criminals do, the whole mask thing. Oh, you got to wear your mask. You got to get vaccinated. Now we went through all that on top of having your police force, defunded. Okay. Philadelphia, what direction do they lean? Are they a Republican town? No, doesn't appear so. How about Kensington Avenue? Have you checked out any videos on that? I talked to my oldest son, Kieran, about that. Now I got him watching those. They are just absolutely, you're watching the Walking Dead. Literally, these people, they're on a new drug called xylazine, which is a drug for animals. It's not even approved for human consumption. But apparently it has hit the streets in Philly. It's the number one. It's kind of ground zero for xylazine. So they're cutting that with fentanyl and all kinds of crazy stuff. If you watch any YouTube videos on Philadelphia, Kensington Avenue, you'll see what I'm talking about. That is on a whole nother level. You got some crazy stuff going on. So not only do you have carjackings going on, streets of Philadelphia, streets of brotherly love. Having a tough go. It's unclear why carjackings have so dramatically shot up over the last 2 years. And in January, Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw warned the phenomenon was not normal. We would like you to come to our town and we would like you to recognize that the incredible amount of carjackings we're currently experiencing, that's not normal. And if you do rent a car, make sure you lock your doors, have your wits about you, and don't go out after 7 p.m. because, we got the record carjackings going on. What's happening here is not normal, and I don't want anyone for a minute to begin to normalize this, Outlaw said. Well, considering the other crimes that are going on in Philadelphia, is this becoming normal? Is this the new norm? I don't think it is. But it's kind of crazy that since the pandemic, so many of these figures have escalated, right? And then in other cities, we're just decriminalizing things so that crime levels recede. It's funny when you do, it's no longer a crime, therefore you can't report that as a crime. Therefore, hey, crime's going down. Look at how that works. Look at the magic there. Let's just change all of our definitions of everything, including recession. That is no longer defined as 2/4 of gross domestic product going down. It's not that. It's not that. That's a definition. So I jest, of course, right? Everybody kind of knows the textbook definition of things. And when you're told, that's not really right, it kind of reminds me of the White House press secretary. At least Jen Psaki was good at putting a spin on things. I really believe that. I enjoyed watching her put a spin on things. The current one, Karine, whatever her name is so bad. She's just so bad that you can't really watch her because it's like watching her versus Peter Doocy. It's like watching, a preschooler argue something with their parents. And the preschooler isn't advanced. They're at a preschool level. You got some preschoolers who are like, yeah, I read at a fourth grade level. Well, imagine that. That's what it feels like when I watch Jen Psaki versus Peter Doocy. He does those questions and she's like, and just comes up with a response that is not unlike our commander-in-chief. So the police chief speculated that one of the reasons for the increase in vehicle theft, often through armed or violent means, which is what a carjacking is, right, is that it's become a crime of opportunity as deliveries rose during the pandemic and have remained high since. Okay, but there's a lot of other crimes that rose during the pandemic too, right? It's almost like, and I talk about this fairly often, it's almost like somebody behind the scenes said, all right, you guys, get ready. Get your running shoes on because you guys are going to be doing some criminal activity here. You guys better be ready to go because when I say go, you guys get out there and you do your best. Don't let me down. And then boom, beginning of the pandemic, they were off and running, right? That's what it feels like has gone on. Now, what does that reflect? It just reflects me looking at all the criminal activity that goes on. Have we had criminal activity elevate like this during a pandemic before? I don't know. Do we have any statistics on that whatsoever? But what we do know is that in cities that, defunded their police, they've got a soft stance on sentencing. They don't keep anybody locked up. They just let people go. They've decriminalized drugs. This stuff is going on a lot more than in other cities that have a more conservative bent, that are more concerned with law and order. It's one of those things I think in this year, in the midterms and in the 2024 elections, you keep hearing stuff about abortion. Well, yes, that's important, but I think families are more concerned with paying their bills and that whole inflation thing and the whole crime, levels of crime, people in communities that are experiencing this. Talk about Portland fairly often. People in Portland are literally not even so much behind the scenes now, but they're kind of coming out in the open. Yeah, we want to keep Portland weird, but because, Portlandia, but we're also kind of looking at candidates who might have we hate to say it, a little tougher stance on crime because things have gotten so out of control. Even my kid just sent me a TikTok clip of Joe Rogan talking with one of his guests. And Joe Rogan's like, yeah, somebody sent me a clip the other day of Portland. Have you seen that yet? How he is. He's like, that's not normal. And then he made a comment to they're cooking meth in tents. And that's something I talk a lot about because I've spent a fair amount of time over the years in tents, as you do when you're mountain climbing and things like that and camping. And that whole flame and nylon tent structure, they don't go well together. And so oftentimes you'll see tent. Okay, a few fiberglass poles with charcoal and burned up remnants of what was something resembling a handful of tents in a row. And then it'll be tent after that. Literally, they catch fire and they catch a few tents on fire and hopefully nobody's in them. But that is not uncommon, right? It's just not uncommon. And so people know it and people are like, oh yeah, burn up those tents. So, all right. But to be fair, we also know that this trend is not unique to Philadelphia, as similar increases have been seen across the country during the same time period. She said, referring to other cities like Washington, D.C., are they Republican? I don't think they are. Detroit. Is Detroit Republican? It's not. Baltimore. Same question, same response. Where carjackings have jumped by 25%, 40%, and 50% respectively since 2021. Yeah. Fox News could not immediately reach the Philadelphia Police Department for comment because they are so busy with carjackings. Though a department and it's not funny. It's not funny. It's just, it's more, what do you say? what do you even say? I mean, how'd you like to be in Philadelphia and you're trying to get you're just trying to get to work, just trying to go to your damn job, which you probably aren't, super fond of, because a lot of people aren't super fond of their jobs, and you get carjacked. Far worse than getting your car just stolen, right? It just is. Somebody comes up to your car, puts a gun in your face, taps on your windshield, and said, "I need your car right now. Get the F out." That's terrifying. That's horrific. Nobody should experience that. And yet that's gone on how many times in Philly? How many more times is that going to go on before the end of this year? Record-setting trends on trends you don't want to see continued. Over the past several years, Philadelphia has seen a disturbing spike in the number of violent crime incidents, including shootings, homicides, and carjackings. Unfortunately, these incidents have occurred throughout the country, and their occurrence is not unique to Philadelphia. No, it's not. But if you look at the demographic makeup of the cities that are experiencing this the most, it seems to have a common thread in there. Can't quite put my finger on it. I'll have to get back to you on that, right? In 2020, Minneapolis, Republican or Democratic? Again, I'll have to get back to you on that one. You see where I'm going. Minneapolis saw a staggering 537% increase in carjackings between November 19, November 20. Chicago, again, same question, same answer, reported a roughly 135% increase in all of 2020. And DC, 136% increase. These are not the direction you want these numbers to go. Wild stuff, right? And literally, I go back to somebody just flipped a switch. All right, guys. All right. Yeah. Are you in your blocks? All right. Here goes the gun. We're at a track meet now. 1, 2, 3. You're off and running. Don't trip. Stay in your lane. Yep. I ran track in high school. All right. So that's that. All right. So record levels of carjackings. And I hear about this in Seattle every now and then, but I don't know what our numbers are, but guaranteed they're higher than they were pre-pandemic, because it seems like most numbers are. The only numbers that were interesting during the pandemic that things went down were things like where you had interaction with people, like sexual assault and rape were down because you had less people walking around, less people, going from their parking lot to their car, to their grocery store, to the library. You had less opportunity for that kind of thing. You had less crime at home. You had less people having stuff stolen from their homes because everybody was in their damn house, right? Just hunkered down because we were told it's what you got to do. It's what you got to do. Be a good American, stay home, get that jab. And that's what a lot of folks did. And so you've got all these crime statistics that are just so wacky. But carjackings, that's not a good one. All right. As this trend unfolds and continues, which it will, I'll cover it for you right here on News for Reasonable People. Thanks for being here. We'll catch up in the next one. Bye for now.